Hello everyone, Ziljin here with another episode of Let's Talk About Things. So this episode is going to be talking about 300 and the Battle of Thermopylae part of it. Because I recently watched that cracked video, helmet history, hilariously inaccurate helmet history or something, but whatever, regardless. If you watch Cracked, you will have seen it already. It was released last year, but I just only recently watched it. Yeah. And obviously, I did take history classes before. I did learn about how inaccurate the movie actually was. I remember the history professor from college telling me so. But the video kind of refreshed it. And now that I started making vlogs, I just want to talk about it. So obviously, the movie is not completely wrong, but a lot of inaccuracies. So and a lot of hypocrisy. So it's kind of funny. So, and I did watch that through list everything wrong with 300. You know, the movie cinema sins and stuff like that. So just kind of like that, but not really, cause yeah. So in the movie, it's the Persian force invading Greece, and 300 Spartans would go to volunteer to fight against them, and then 500 Arcadians go to join them, and that's it. A grand total of 1,000. I mean, whoa! Why did I say 1,000? Grand total of 800 soldiers versus like millions of soldiers or whatever, like hundreds of thousands of soldiers. So in real life, there's actually, I mean, it's debated because like there's there's the main historians is Herodotus and Diodorus, and basically they list around one of them is around 5,000 men and the other one is around 7,000 men. Yeah, 7,000 soldiers. So yeah, so it wasn't just the 300 and 500 Arcadians. It's actually a lot more, almost 10 times that many soldiers. So obviously, if the movie was called the 5,000, the 5,000 Greek forces, Greek soldiers, Greek hoplites, it would not be as impressive, I guess, not as heroic tragedy. But yeah, so there was in fact 300 Spartan hoplites, but there was also other Spartans. There's the second class citizens, periorkoi. There's like listed around like 700 to 1,000 of them, and also the Spartans. They also had lots of slaves, helot slaves, Messenians. I read somewhere where they typically had 3 helots per Spartan soldier, so that's around 900 helots. Yeah, and there I'll just have briefly read some of the other city states that contributed soldiers based on the historians. Of course, they differ, but yeah. So there's also Mantineans, Tegeans, Arcadians. Well, so Arcadians were actually accurate, but they're supposed to bring 1,000 soldiers, not 500. There's Corinthians, Philippians, Messenians, Thespians, Malians, Thebans, Phocians, and what? Opuntian Locrians. Okay, so basically, yeah, lots of city-states contribute hundreds of troops. Some of them even contribute as much as 1,000. So yeah, and also, besides them in the ocean, there's also the Athenian fleet. In the movie, it's just a thunderstorm that destroys like the Persian fleet, but no, there's actual soldiers and ships fighting the Persians alongside the battle. Yeah. So yeah, and so the movie, it's like, oh, Sparta, we're the freedom fighters of we're protecting the West from the Persian slavery and stuff. But like I remember the professor telling me the Persians didn't actually practice slavery, not like as mainstream, like capturing prisoners and making them all slaves and stuff. While Spartans, they themselves, being massive hypocrites, they were actual slave owners. They had lots and lots of slaves. I mean, I'm sure the other Greek city-states had slaves. I mean, honestly, lots of ancient civilizations, even modern, some still have slaves, but lots of ancient civilizations had slaves. So it's not like something. I mean, it is definitely immoral, but yeah, it's not like a uncommon occurrence or rare occurrence. Lots of city-states, lots of cities, lots of empires had slaves. Okay, yeah. So, but it's kind of like they're trying to make it like, oh, the Persians are so evil. They're filled with demonic monsters and mutated creatures and stuff like that. Like almost everyone, Alphiades and the Ephors, almost everyone who helps the Persians also were like deformed creatures. Like, no, all the Greeks, all the Persians were just regular humans. Obviously, anyone with the brain would realize that, but you know, if you look past the obviousness, there's a subtlety that like anyone who was Persian or helped the Persians were like evil, disgusting creatures. Yeah, that's the subtle meaning behind the movie. But even if you ignore that, there's a lot more Greeks there, and the Greeks obviously practiced slavery. So even if the Persians did practice slavery, the Greeks were not like morally superior to the Persians or anything like that. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, besides that, so like yeah, Spartans did indeed practice eugenics, just like the movie stated. So yeah, back to the slave. So basically they conquered the neighbors, the Messenians, and so yeah, that's basically why the Spartans became such a highly militant society, because they were in constant fear of slave revolts, because the Messenian populace was much greater than the Spartans. So basically they train themselves so that they can fight like 10 soldiers at once, because that's like, I mean, that's what the professor told me. So like the slave population outnumbered not the Persians, the Spartans, for like 10-1. So basically they trained themselves so they could kill 10 soldiers at a time, right? They could at least take on 10 soldiers. That's the reason why they did such highly training. And also pretty much every year they declared war on the slaves, on the helots, and they just like terrorized them, brutally murder them, just round up all the helots, the Messenians that they thought were like the smartest, the most popular, the charismatic, anyone who could possibly lead a slave revolt. They found them, they rounded them up and killed the crap out of them. Yeah. So the movie is complete hogwash for the most part. And yeah, even if you ignore all that identity politics and stuff, that's like, oh, brown people, Muslims are bad, Turkish people, I mean not Turkish, Iranians bad, you know, white people good. If you ignore that, there's still a lot of other things wrong with the movie. So like, it pretty much ignores all the other Greek forces that contributed to the defense, you know, to the battle. And yeah, so the mountain pass, there was also indeed a mountain pass, and they were guarded by the 1,000 Phocians. And there was a man named Ephialtes. He was not a hunchback, he was not a Spartan, he was just a regular Greek who, I guess, he just thought the Persians were gonna win. Maybe he was afraid, maybe he was greedy, so he sold them out. He told the Persian forces about the mountain pass, which were the Phocians were guarding. So when the Persians did find the mountain pass, the Phocians, I don't know, I guess they're afraid the Persians might invade their city, so they retreated. They went back to defend their city, and that allowed the Persian forces to pass through the pass. Leonidas found out, and he commanded like all the other Greek forces to retreat. They weren't cowards or anything. I read that they actually wanted to stay and help him fight, but Leonidas said, you gotta go back and defend your cities. Okay. And then Leonidas and the 300 Spartans, they volunteered to stay behind, but I don't know, it doesn't really mention if, like, you know, what happened to the Perioikoi and the helots, but either they stayed or they went back home. Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, the Perioikoi, there's like second-class citizens. Maybe they were sent home because, you know, but the slaves, I don't know, helots, they're kind of slaves. They're meant to serve the Spartans. So if the Spartans were going to die, so it wouldn't really make sense to send the slaves home. when they're they probably needed slaves to help them, right? And like they probably did, and I mean they declared war on them, tried to kill them, brutally murder them and stuff. Like I don't think they really care about the helots' lives, so they probably made the slaves. The helots stayed behind with them. The pederasty doesn't. There's no mention if they sent the pederasty home or not. But okay, who knows? But they did mention that the Thespians, the 700 Thespians, they volunteered to stay behind. Now the Spartans, they're trained soldiers from life, from childhood to life. I mean to old age. Yeah, they spent their entire life training to fight and stuff. So the Thespians, I don't know. Like the other Greeks want to stay behind, but I guess Leonidas told them to go home. But Thespians, they let them stay behind. But the Thespians, not to be confused with the Thespian, the actors. These are Thespians, citizens of Thespia, the city-state. The Thespian actors is referred to another dude, another Greek. It has nothing to do with the city. The Thespians, the actors, had nothing to do with the Thespians, the soldiers, the Greeks. Yeah, anyway. So the Thespians stayed behind. They were obviously not like super soldier military men like the Spartans. So obviously it's considered very heroic of them to volunteer and fight alongside the Spartans. And then they also Leonidas only commanded the Thebans to stay behind. I mean, I read there's like some controversy on why, but basically Thebes, which is also Thespia was relying on Thebes. I don't know. Anyway, forget about that. I want to talk about the battle. So the Thebes, the Thebans, they were actually pro-Persians. So it's considered, like my professor, the way he said it is the Thebes were pro-Persia, and Leonidas commanded Thebans to stay behind because he didn't trust them. Yeah, and I guess I don't know, to make the Persians show the Thebans are defying you, even though they kind of want to surrender to you. But okay, so there's at the very least, was it 400, 700, 300, at the very least 1,400 soldiers staying behind, and possibly the pederasty and the Thebans, so easily 2,000 or more soldiers, 2,000 or more people there fighting. Maybe the helots didn't fight, but at the very least they helped the Spartans, you know, I don't know, polish the armor or something, fetch the spears and swords. So there's several thousand soldiers there, even with the other several thousand retreating. So it's not just the 300 plus the 500 Arcadians. Oh yeah, the 500 Arcadians left, so it's just the 300. So no, there wasn't just 300. There was at least 1,000, possibly even thousands. Yeah, at least 1 to 2,000. Yeah, if you include the pederasty, almost 3,000 men. Yeah. Anyway, so the Greeks government did later build a statue to honor the 700 Thespians in like 1977. So I did do a little brief research right before the video. Yeah. So yeah. Okay. So did I mention the Athenians were also fighting alongside in the ocean? Yeah. So I think that kind of covers everything. So basically, Spartans did practice slavery. I'm sure the other Greek city-states practiced slavery. I should have looked that up beforehand. And there's lots and lots of soldiers there. Oh yeah, I remember what I wanted to say. And also, obviously, the movie was also inaccurate in terms of the armor, the soldiers, the battle formations. So like, so dumb. Oh yeah, the point of all the slavery talk was like Leonidas like, whoa, Sparta is free people, free men, and Persian is full of army of slaves. No, most of the Persian armies were free men, and most of the Sparta were actual slaves. So it's like the complete not like the opposite of the actual history, the actual circumstance, the actual reality. Yeah. And they made fun of Athenians for being boy lovers, pederasts, but it was actually pederasty that was practiced by pretty much all Greeks. In fact, there's a Spartan marriage custom marriage ceremony is the Spartan wife, the fiance, whatever, during when she's getting married, she had to shave her head bald and wear men's clothing and like try her best to look like a man. Why? Because the Spartans also practiced pederasty. They also had boy lovers. They were also boy lovers like the Athenians they accused of. So the movie is also wrong on that part. Like they had their wives dress up as men, shave their heads to look like men. So yeah, I think that would conclude that they were indeed also pederast boy lovers like the rest of the Greeks. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. And also, it's also true that Spartans did have like higher rights for women compared to other city-states, Greek city-states. Yeah, mostly because of the eugenics. Spartan women give birth to Spartan men. So they need more strong Spartan men. So the Spartan women were also given lots of rights, and they also had training, and I think they had education. But yeah, the point is they try to make the Spartan society as uplifted as possible, and they had a universal basic income. Every Spartan citizen, soldier, he was given land and slaves by the government, the slave, because the Spartans themselves, they're supposed to just spend all their time fighting, doing wars, so they were not allowed to, work on farms or, trade or anything like that. So all of that was taken care of the slaves and also the second class citizens, the periorkoi. So yeah, the Spartans, pretty much they were a military elite. They weren't even exactly wealthy or anything, but they did have slaves. They had some wealth. It was mostly supposed to be like sustenance. Yeah, but my professor said there were some wealthy Spartans, but for the most part, every Spartan citizen was guaranteed a home, a wife, and income. Yeah, and slaves, property. So yeah, they had a whole bunch of stuff. So it was some kind of weird fascist state that practiced eugenics. It was kind of like, I don't want to get too political, like Nazis before the Nazis came apart. But yeah, I think Hitler did praise the Spartans and stuff like that. So he probably considered them like proto-Nazis. Okay, I'm gonna cut it with the Nazi and Hitler analogies, and they're okay. Yeah, I don't want to get too into that. I just found it's kind of similar in the sense that Spartans were not exactly moral. Yeah, they were messed up. They did a lot of crazy stuff. Lots of Anyway, regardless, so back. Oh my God, the armor. Yeah, so the Spartans, like most hoplites, they did their best to, especially the Spartans, because they were military elite. They were covered pretty much head to toe. Maybe not the legs, cause wait, did they? Yeah, they had like almost okay. They didn't have armor covering the thighs, but they had armor covering the legs. And I think that the arms and mostly the chest and the helmet. So it's not like the movie where they were freaking completely half naked, where they had capes and they just had like they had like no armor at all. Just the shields. No, the real hoplites, they had lots of armors, and they also had spears and they had swords. The spears were the primary weapon. Yeah. So I remember what I want to say. So in the last part, this will be the near the end of the video. So basically the Spartans, so after the Phocians retreated, all the other Greeks retreated, the Spartans and the Thespians and the Thebans were left. The Thebans surrendered like upon seeing the massive Persian force, or after a few days of battle. But yeah, the Thebans were surrendered, and according to Herodotus, the Persians kept on killing them for at least a few minutes before accepting their surrender. Like the Thebans just dropped their weapons and raised up their hands like, "Oh, we surrender." Yeah. Just as Leonidas suspected. Anyway, so the Thespians and the Spartans, they did not surrender. They kept on fighting. Leonidas was not the last Spartan to die like in the movies. He actually died. He didn't die first, obviously, but he did die at some point in the battle. I believe it was the last battle, and then all the Spartans and probably thespians, they all fought ferociously. Normally, in the battle, when your leader gets killed, everyone's, oh shoot, we lost, our leader's dead, and they all surrender, they run away, they get demoralized. Nope, the Spartans, they're fought even like fiercer than ever. Their mortal did not shatter, they did not break, and they kept on fighting. And then like they killed so many soldiers, all their spears, their swords, they're shattered, they're blunted, they broke. And they kept on fighting using, according to Herodotus, tooth and nail. Like freaking punching them and scratching them and biting them. Like they basically become zombies. like man, I want to watch the Herodotus version of 300. Forget the Frank Miller comic book movie. That sucked. Yeah, it had some good action scenes, and so hypocritical. Leonidas is like, Ephialtes, you're useless. We don't want you. You're a hunchback, deformed hunchback. You can't even help us in the Spartan formation, the Hoplite Formation, not the Spartan Formation. And then guess what? In the movie, they almost never used the Hoplite Formation. They had it in like 1 or 2 scenes where like, yeah, and then they all just run out and it's like, oh, fighting like wild, crazy people. But in actuality, most armies did fight in some sort of shield wall or some sort of battle formation. There's nothing like the movies with the slow motion battles where everyone's fighting 1 versus 1, stuff like that. Almost all battles were fought in formations. Even the barbarians, like all the, typically in the movies and like the history books where people were like uncivilized savages, barbarians. No, even them, they were not actually uncivilized. They're not barbarians. They were just considered barbarians by whoever who was writing the history book, because they looked weird. And they're foreigners and stuff like that. It's just a bunch of stereotypes. Yeah, anyway. Yeah. So basically almost everyone fought in formations back then in the ancient medieval past, etc. And yeah, so the Hoplite Formation. So Leonidas was saying, oh, Ephialtes, you're useless, you can't help out in the formation, and then they never use it in the freaking movie anyway. So that was such a stupid line to include. Like, I I understand that the writer did that, the comic book writer did that, so the Ephialtes was scorned, and that's why he betrayed the Spartans and stuff, because he wanted to be one of them, and he got rejected, which is also kind of like, ew, so bitter. It's like when you hear about those like bitter men who can't get a girlfriend and they hate all women and stuff like that. Like, yeah, it reminds me of that. Anyway, that's another off-topic thing, so I'll try to keep it short. And this actually went along. I thought I was only going to speak about this for a few minutes. Okay, yeah. So back to Herodotus version. So I would like to see that thousands of soldiers, all in Hoplite Formation, fully armored, fully, fighting the crap out of, I guess. Watch the movie Troy. They actually had, for the most part, pretty okay Hoplite formations. Maybe it was in hoplites, but everyone fought like in the spear wall. So, all the shields interlocked. You got the spears. They're all fighting in formation for most of the movie. Now that was awesome. Yeah, I don't know why they could do that correctly, but the 300 they decided to go all slow motion, 1 versus 1 dramatic battles. I don't know why they couldn't just do the same as Troy, where they had everyone fighting in the Hoplite Formation. Yeah. And Troy wasn't even a real battle. I mean, it's just all fiction. How a fictional battle portrayed the soldiers more historically than a movie about a fictional battle portrayed the Greek soldier formations and battle combat much more accurate than a movie about a historical event, a historical battle. Okay, that's kind of ironic. Anyway, I think I've rambled long enough. I believe I covered everything. It would have been. So the movie 300, complete hogwash. Almost everything is factually wrong, inaccurate. The battles, the armors, the soldiers, the circumstances, almost everything is inaccurate. Only the eugenics and women having rights was about the only thing that was true. And Persians invaded Greece. Yeah, those the only 3 things that were close to accurate. Yeah. And so, and yeah, so in short, 300 hogwash. But if they ever remake the movie, I would like them to follow Herodotus, even though it's not necessarily true, it's not necessarily accurate, because a lot of history is always false and inaccurate and misinformation and stuff like that. And also most of the history about Sparta comes from like Athenian historians or something. So who knows? Maybe there's parts of it that we'll never find out, you know, because Spartans never kept any historical records or anything like that. So yeah, who knows? Maybe we're not seeing the full picture. But yeah. Anyway, enough about that. So enough rambling and ranting and all that stuff. So hopefully everyone's enjoying this series. What do you think? Have you ever watched the movie 300? Did you know about the historical inaccuracies and facts and stuff like that? Do you have any opinion? Do you think it's okay? It's just, you know, Hollywood movies, even though Hollywood is prone to, you know, demolish history, like, you know, and stuff like that, like portraying foreign cultures, minorities as, like, you know, violent criminals, and, you know, like in this case freaking violent mutant freaks, lobster hands and giant monsters and stuff. Anyway, yeah, so is it just, you know, it's just a movie, or is it more like Hollywood is just doesn't care about accuracy and doesn't care that it's offending minorities and other cultures and stuff like that? It's just complete disrespect. What do you think? Yeah. And it's also disrespectful toward Greek history, because it just completely ignores all the other Greek soldiers, all the Greek city-states that actually contribute to the defense, you know. Yeah, the Thespians, the Athenians, and the Arcanians were there, but like all the other ones, all the other city-states, I can't really remember, but the most mentioned ones are usually the Spartans, Thespians, Athenians, and the Thebans. Yeah, and the Phocians. Yeah, so all these other Greeks were there. They're all helping. They're helping out, defending, and the movie just completely ignored them. So even if you're Greek, you're not Persian, you're not Muslim or whatever, like, you probably, maybe you're offended by it. Were you offended by it if you're Greek? Like, they completely bypass most of the Greek history and all the inaccurate weapons, and I mean the weapons were fine, the armor, you know. Yeah, anyway, enough rambling. Okay, so I think that's all the time we got for this episode. I think I said it already. Hopefully everyone's enjoying this series. What do you think about what I said? What about the movie? About if you read the history books or what, etc. Let me know down below. Subscribe if you have not already. As always, thank you for watching. Bye bye, and support me on Patreon. We got the cash money lying around. Bye. Oh my god, this is way too long. Okay, bye.